Hey, how you doing today? My name is Brilliant. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, I wanted to talk about Hollow Knight Silksong, and this is specifically for the Hollow Knight fans who are newer to the game, and maybe you've only been waiting 2 years for Hollow Knight Silksong, or maybe 1 year, and not 3+ like some of us. I envy you if you are newer to the Hollow Knight community because the wait for Silksong is real. And I wanted to talk about why it feels like Hollow Knight Silksong was announced so early. So I'm going to give you a bunch of history and dates of when things were released, and hopefully in the end it will all make sense of why it feels like Hollow Knight Silksong was announced very early, when in reality it's kind of what they needed to do. Hollow Knight was first a Kickstarter back in November 19th of 2014. Like, ooh, that's a long time ago, right? We're coming up on 9 years almost. And so that campaign ended after a month on December 19th, 2014. So they raised a bunch of money. They hit a bunch of backer goals, right? And so they have a bunch of things that they need to do. They reached a bunch of backer stretch goals. I think they raised what, like 54,000 Australian, something like that. Funny money, but hey, it works for some people, right? They originally, I believe this is right, that there's roughly an expected release date in June of 2015, something like that, but it was delayed multiple times, is what it is. All right, it happens. So I have a feeling that Team Cherry doesn't want to ever do that again, hence they are not giving us a release date or updates on Silksong. I get it. It's okay. I digress. Hollow Knight Silksong was then released on Steam and Windows on February 24th of 2017, and then Mac OS and Linux on April 11th, 2017. I didn't play it back then. I actually didn't get into Hollow Knight until it released on the Nintendo Switch, which is actually June of 2018. I got it into it like right then and there. And then the Godmaster DLC was released on August 23rd of 2018. That was the last DLC. There were several other DLCs released before that, but that being the last one is important because August 23rd, that means that they're then freed up to start working on Hollow Knight Silksong. I believe that they used a different company. I want to say it was Shark Jump Studios was the ones who actually helped port it to the Switch. I don't know if that's also who helped with PlayStation and Xbox, because Hollow Knight was then released on Xbox and PlayStation on September 25th, 2018. It's also when it came on Xbox Game Pass. We saw a huge explosion of new people playing the game then. I think later it came out on PlayStation Plus as well. So after that, so August 23rd, remember, was that last DLC. It was roughly 6 months later that Hollow Knight Silksong, the first trailer, was revealed, and it was so good, and the people cried out with joy. I remember that day. I was actually deployed when that happened. I remember being in my dorm room, for lack of a better term, and I was so excited to see that trailer. Oh, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. This brings me to, why was Hollow Knight Silksong revealed on February 14th of 2019, and then also just a few months later in June of 2019 on the Nintendo Showcase? It was a Nintendo Treehouse Live. They said Hollow Knight Silksong coming soon. I think the coming soon part was a mistake, is what it is. We've gotten over it at this point, right? But if Hollow Knight Silksong was only really in development for like 6 months, maybe a little bit more than that, why was it announced as a new game so early on when they knew it was going to be years and years before the game actually released? Well, the reason is this. Hornet was supposed to be a second playable character in Hollow Knight, right? Remember that stretch goal we were talking about? Hornet's supposed to be a second playable character. Well, Team Cherry couldn't just like leave everybody in suspense and say, hey, we've got a second playable character, we'll get to it when we get to it, and then just like mic drop, walk away, and then surprise us with Silksong 3 or 4 years later, when people were like just expecting Hornet to be in Hollow Knight. Like, that would have felt really weird if that was the case. So luckily early on, Team Cherry knew that Hornet wasn't going to fit in Hollow Knight. She was just too fast. Her abilities, they wanted to explore that more, and so she deserved her own game, and they knew early that that's what they were going to do, which is awesome. I think that they actually made the right move by announcing Silksong being its own game rather than leave all the backers in the dark about the second playable character and reaching that stretch goal. I think that they handled that part right. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do you think that that was handled correctly? Do you think that we should have gotten news about Hollow Knight Silksong as early as we did? But what about the backer goal? The stretch goal. What do you think? What would you have done had you been in that situation? I think it was handled right. I just hope we get some more news. It's a heavy burden putting on that clown makeup all the time. I'm just ready for Silksong. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by and watching to the end. Thank you so much to my members, and I appreciate you. I'll talk to you again more real soon. Thanks. Bye.